Let me introduce the panel from Sony Music. We have Kenny Ong. We have Singapore's own artist, Dharni Ng. From Avex, we have Adam Cho. And to moderate the panel, would you welcome from Meta, Dona Inthaxoum. Give it up, please, ladies and gentlemen. Come on up.
Hi, everyone. This is our second day into All That Matters, and I hope it's been good so far for you. So my name is Dona Inthaxoum. I'm the head of music label partnerships at Meta, and I look after APAC and EMEA. And today we've got three amazing guests who have accepted to come and talk with us about their strategies, about how to expand to international audiences, and what kind of tools they are leveraging out of Meta to do their strategies. So here we've got Kenny Ong, Managing Director of Sony Music Entertainment for Singapore, Malaysia, and Vietnam, and also Head of Special Projects for Southeast Asia. And we've got Adam Cho, the General Manager of Avex Asia. And Dharni, a Singaporean beatboxer who just got a champion title in 2013, 2014. And as you can see, he's very, very talented. Can you now beatbox?
No.
We didn't prepare that, of course. It's a very viral moment for us. So thank you guys for being here today. We only have 30 minutes. So if anybody wants to deep dive deeper into all of those topics, feel free to come and talk to the guests here, or to myself, or to the team at Meta. So we're going to start with you, Kenny. Can you share a recent Sony campaign or social media strategy that was particularly successful on Instagram or Facebook, and why?
I think one of the most recent examples we have is in Vietnam, which is actually a very heavy Facebook user, as you know. And one or two or three things that we have learned there's an artist called Duc Phuc, if you're looking up, D-U-C-P-H-U-C. And one of the things that we built around the campaigns for his new song was that, and the learnings that we got was, number one, what we did for him was we were very thoughtful in how we want to approach Facebook in this particular case. And there was a lot of pre and post planning, which means when we did the MV for the song, we actually did a lot of pre-content shooting and post-content shooting. So while we did the content shooting for the MV and behind the scenes, we curated a lot of the special content that we did specifically for Facebook. That means even before the MV came out, we knew this was what we're going to post on Facebook or on stories or reels on Instagram. And we actually placed that before the MV came up and after the MV. So that worked very well for us, and the song gained traction very fast, and he gained quite a lot of followers on both Facebook and also on Spotify. So I think for us, one of the things that we learned is that I think if you're going to do a campaign on Facebook, it has to be very thought out and it has to be very intended. That means you really need to know what you want to do. And the other thing that worked well for us was that actually we did on a multi-platform. So we did on Facebook, they cut across to Instagram, and depending on the time. So if it's more urgent, then we use Instagram stories. If not, if you're just curating for a community, then it's just, then it'll be Facebook building for his fan followers. So I think that helps us to craft the right strategy for him. And it worked very well for us in Vietnam. So I think we did something similar across all our artists as well in Southeast Asia and globally. And I think roughly the strategies remain the same as long as whoever is building the content for us is, you know what kind of content that you want to capture while you're shooting the music video or while you're doing the recording sessions, and you purposely capture all those different content and you're able to use those before and after the music launches. So that one is a good thing for us. Yeah.
Yeah, so you're saying that basically when you want to create content and post it, you have to think about the nature of the content and select what kind of tools is the best to do that and what kind of platform works better in the countries that you're targeting.
Yes, and you have to curate it before. you have to start creating a content even before you start thinking about the campaign.
Yeah.
And don't waste the opportunity, because when you're shooting a music video, when you're going to a studio session, when your artist is about meeting fans, I think the key thing is just to curate as much content as possible, and then in your mind be able to edit them out before and after the campaign. Otherwise, then it's quite last minute, right? You don't know what to do before the song launches. Oh, what do I need to do? What do I need the artist to do? I think if you plan out properly at every song or album launch, you know what you're going to do on Facebook and Instagram before and after the fact. It works a lot much better. Then you have the content available.
Right. How do you measure the success or failure of a campaign once you've done all of this? Is it based off of views? Is it based off of the engagement or the impact on the streams on DSPs?
It is campaign by campaign, and it's very different objectives. For some, I think at the basic level, if you're trying to build, I think sometimes it's just purely repost or UGC. That means we just want to see the music being used over and over again, and so we track how many times the song is being used on UGC or being reposted over and over again. That's a crucial, because we found that once that happens, then you will see a lot more traction on the DSPs like Spotify and YouTube and Apple Music. That is good for us. But sometimes I think for us, it depends on if the campaign is to build followers, then we just focus on building followers on the page, right? Or we are trying to build more followers on the Instagram account. So that is some of KPIs that we use. It's not easy to tie a KPI direct to streaming. That means DSP, right? So we have to do all the leading indicators that will bring us closer to streaming on YouTube, Apple, or Spotify. So building a fan base is important. Building followers is important. Building engagement. So sometimes the campaign is just engagements, right? How many people talk about the song? Sometimes it's just an artist they have going live on Facebook, and how many people interacting, or sometimes it's just before a live showcase, how many people buy the tickets online. So it really depends on. I think again, like I mentioned now, the key thing is intent. A lot of people, when they do Facebook campaigns or Instagram, when they do it, they don't have an intent. They just post something and they hope something happens. I think that's when the whole thing falls apart. You really know what you want to do on Meta to be able to get the full optimization out of it.
Yeah. Well, if we can stay in that topic, Adam, Dharni, can you tell us how you measure the success of your campaigns, actually? If you believe that this is something that works better, is there like a ratio number that, makes you think, okay, this is something that is working very well for us?
I mean, in my case, I'm not even going to try to pretend that I know a lot about social medias and all that, but I think the importance of content is like how it can resonate with the people out there that we want to try to convert them into the fans of the artists that we're promoting, right? And in that manner, and also like there are a lot of like different kind of metrics that you can just go on and on and on about it, but also it varies on what is your objective of the campaign, right? But ultimately, to me, I tend to prioritize like authenticity of the comments that people are making, because in my head, the mantra about 1,000 super fans is more valuable than 1 million followers, because ultimately, those are the people that are going to do anything and everything if the artists that they're following are doing, right? So I tend to gravitate more towards to the authenticity of the comments and genuine reaction, and obviously that has to come with the content that also gets to feel as genuine and authentic as possible to the audience.
I think doing content for your upcoming song or something that you want to promote, I agree that you need intent, that you need like a plan before executing everything. However, what I learned is that there is this little gap of like thinking like how, even if you have a campaign and then your views for the songs are always viral. I want to raise out one artist. He's been doing a lot of viral videos of just one song, his single, and he's just promoting using his own content, and it's always viral. Over hundreds of millions of views, non-stop. But when I check on his Spotify, it's only 2 million streams. And it didn't translate really well, although he had a plan and intent to do it, but it's just because it's not UGC, it's just his content. So people don't really like follow on the trend to use his song to make the content of their own. So a very important thing that I learned is that although you want to be authentic as an artist, people want to feel authentic using your content too, your song. So you need to have that translation for them to feel authentic, using your song and create that kind of their own style of content. And I think that will work better, and it's more powerful, converting to your streams on your platforms. Yeah,
That makes sense. Back to you, Adam. I'm not going to make you beatbox, don't worry. J-pop is coming back to the international music scene, and we were wondering what are Avex social media strategies for all of your artists.
Is it coming back?
Yeah.
Okay.
Looks like it. We've heard it.
Yeah, I feel it. I feel the XG power.
Yeah, I mean, I am actually very excited to see the recent resurgence of J-pop across the globe. I would like to say, I mean, there was once a period of time when J-pop was the thing, but I guess like one thing or another happened, so the dynamics has a little bit changed. But I think this is a really, really good time for J-pop content to come back, so I'm very excited. At the same time, at Avex, there are a lot of artists that are also targeting to go global from the get-go, so that's the right movement. So again, like it's a very exciting time for both J-pop or Japanese culture followers and Japanese IP repertoire owners. In terms of the social media strategy, I can only speak about Southeast Asia because that's where I'm in, right? And I, again, don't mean to pretend that I know everything about it. But for Southeast Asia, I've always found that it's a very interesting region because people tend to just categorize all the countries under the name of Southeast Asia. But if you look into it, it actually consists with different countries, which means different cultures, different languages, and all that. So from my perspective, the way that we are tackling social media from our end with our artists is the localization, which has been talked about a lot of times. And also it can mean a lot of different things as well. But it can be as simple as collaborating with the local creators or sort of like diverting your content into more local languages and all that kind of jazz. That's I think is one of the keys that we are trying to achieve as and when we are running a social media campaign for our artists. And at the same time, that's when, meta platforms come in very handy, like your music products, your promotional vehicles, and also your support, like advice and everything. So I think we've been having a really, really great ride with you guys, particularly for the XG that you mentioned, the 108 that Eno just mentioned about, which is going to be our biggest priority, who will perform at OCBC Square at 7:30 p.m. today. So please do come enjoy the show. So yeah.
I had a chance to meet them yesterday to do content. It was really, they're really cool people,
Really cool.
Individually unique. And yeah, we got along really well, and they're just really chill and funny. A lot of energy.
Oh, thanks.
Cool.
So we shall expect some piece of content coming out soon.
Oh, yeah.
Exclusive.
Oh, cool. So, Dharni, in the last few months, you've grown your fan base very significantly. You've done a lot of collaborations, especially on Reels, with different artists, other influencers. Can I ask you to share a bit more about how communities are doing for you on Instagram? How did they help you to get you where you are at?
So basically, I'm a content creator and a beatboxer and a musician to begin with. So what I do is I tend to experiment a lot of content, and also being authentic at the same time. So this year I've been experimenting with skits revolving around my beatboxing skills, which worked really well because I felt that my humor, there's a unique sense of humor catered to a lot of people in the world. So because of a lot of trial and error, I get to know where's my strength at. So basically, when you're just starting, it's most important to just experiment and just make mistakes. So then you really know what kind of community you want, So when I was doing skits and beatboxing related stuff revolving around it, I realized that, you know, the people of like the millennials, they're more interested in my content of that sort. And then when I went, because I'm an 80s kid, although I don't look old, but I'm actually...
You look very young.
I'm 80s
Right?
kid.
He looks very young.
Yeah. So basically, what I do is like I like nostalgic stuff, you know. I like the Gigi D'Agostino, Eiffel 65, the Y2K EDM, like even back in the 80s or 90s. I bring it back into my modern beatboxing skill, which makes everything new and fresh that is unprecedented, no one has ever heard of before. So, which is really cool because I'm blasting people back to the past and bringing them the memories that they had before when they were younger, and making them relieve that memory a little bit more vividly. So that's one of my content that I've been doing with my wife, and it's really good. A lot of people are following me for that as well. So I know there's a community for that as well. So now you say like I have like it's like different communities, but it's actually not a bad thing because everything is revolving around my personality, around beatboxing. So there's still a core there, So, and what I do is like I use beatbox as like the constant thing, and revolving around it, it's my character, my personality, and that's where I get like the community coming in. So I'm still constantly building a community, and I can see over this year, Meta on Instagram, especially, he has brought me, a wider community all around the world. I can see that people in the U.S., Brazil, especially U.S. and Brazil, they're actually like the audience is picking up, and I can see people. Some parts of the world that actually like what I do, and it's really empowering for me. So once you know what you want, you develop from that. You develop ideas, you develop more stuff, and naturally your community will like it as well because it's the taste. So you can try like a few, like you're in a restaurant. I can say like you're in a restaurant, you see a menu. And this menu is like your favorite restaurant is, and on this menu there's a few food that you like, and you don't want to change it, because if you come to the restaurant and the menu changes, then you'll be like, oh no, what about my favorite food, So it's the same thing for an audience to come to your account. It's like I come here for this, I want to see this and that. So you give them an assortment of content that works. You are the chef, so you give them the assortment of content that works, and then you get that community, you get your regular customers. So then that's where you build your consumer, like your footfall. That's what you call it. So I'm still doing it. I'm still building my menu, and I'm new at this. I think everybody is, and we are constantly trying to find new possibilities on this amazing platform. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's interesting that you are using the word. I don't think you used it, but basically you said that your skills is your anchor, and your personality is also an anchor. But then the type of content you would create, really, like what type of music you decide to beatbox, will really depend on the communities that you would like to reach out to.
Yeah,
right?
but most importantly is that it's true to yourself. So I'm doing this song because. I did a cover of something because I actually grew from that. Yeah. I liked it, yeah. So I learned from it, Yeah. It's not like I'm doing something because people like it. So I'm doing it because firstly, I like it, and I know a lot of people like it as well. And so that's how I, decide to do it. Yeah.
Okay. So speaking of content, I'm pretty sure that a lot of brands come and talk to you. So wanting to be true to yourself, wanting to be true to your audience, how do you do to balance authentic content coming from you and content that you produce for brands?
So right now, brands are more aware and sensitive about the personal image of the artists that they're hiring or the content creator they're hiring, because they know that they get an artist for that kind of how I call it, like that branding, the artist branding. So what I do is that firstly, I put myself as like I need to be authentic personally if I like the brand or not first. You know, you can't just like be chasing the money. You need to, because there's like you earn quick, but you lose fast. You know, I've seen a lot of like creators, they just every post, you know, it's just an ad or like a a campaign, and then you see the engagement is just falling, it just goes down. So what you need to do is you need to like a brand, like you really like a brand, and you can do it. You know, it relates to your ethos. You know, and then it works. So that's why that there are not many times right now like you can see content creator like working with like any random brand. They are quite smart about it because they want that brand to empower them as a whole and not to pull them down. Yeah. So that's one important thing.
What do you recommend in terms of posting frequency? Because, like, as you said, if you post branded content all the time, your engagement drops and sometimes you lose followers. So what would be your ideal?
So it's basically like if you have a branded content, you either can like weave it really cleverly, like, to make sure like it doesn't really affect anything else in your feed, or you can dilute it by doing 3 or 4 more content, and in between there is like, it's like commercial break. It's treated like a commercial break when you're watching something on the platform, and then there's a commercial break coming up. It's basically like that. So I think there is no right or wrong for frequency. In my personal opinion, my frequency, like to post, is like it can be like twice a day to 4 times a week. Or 3 times a week, it doesn't matter. As long as like you're not having a long break. If you're having a long break, then it's quite hard to get back into the inner circle of the algorithm.
Yeah, that's true. It takes time for our algorithm at least to pick up what's happening in the world of the creator. Back to you, Kenny and Adam. Aha. Let's talk more about UGC. Kenny, what is your strategy for leveraging user-generated content or even fan engagement to market music?
Well, for us, there are 2 ways to do it. There's an expensive way to do it, and there's a not so expensive way to do it. So the expensive way to do it is like what most of us will do, which is then you hire an agency or influencers to use the music that you have or the content that you have and then do something with it, a dance or a movement, or to use a song to do a cover. I think that's the expensive way to do it. And most of us will have done it or do it. Again, like I said, the intent is important. If you're doing it, then you should know what kind of ROI you're trying to get back and how it will lead into revenue, right? Ticketing or merchandise or otherwise. And the other way, the cheaper way to do it, which we found by accident, was, I think we practice it quite a lot now, which is sometimes people don't know how to create the UGC. They have no idea. So you have the song. You have to prompt how people should use your song. So, for example, you can do this. It's not a trade secret. So my teams will go out now and start to shoot things like sunset, sunrise. They will shoot things like rain, depressing videos, 5 seconds of it. So when we have a song, for example, if it's a ballad, it's a very depressing ballad, they'll just attach the song to a video, 5-second video, 10-second video of rain, just rain, which we took some time ago. And then we post it, right? And to show that this song can be used for feeling very sad. So other people then start creating the same video because they are so feeling very sad. They use a song and start posting sad videos. And then you find suddenly from one rain video, you have like 100 rain videos. So those are the things that I think, again, if you start to do it, curate all these things that you can do, you don't need to like take somebody's content. I think you can start doing some of this on, quite cost effectively. So there are ways that we will do it. Like I said, either you do it expensive or you're doing the less expensive way. And we have found a combination of both works well, again, depending on the platform, whether it's Facebook or Instagram.
Yeah, so you basically try to find like relatable piece of content with a song and then encourage people to reuse that song for the same situation.
Yeah, we just shoot every day, everything. You just go out the road, shoot traffic, shoot whatever. Then, as long as you are not shooting people, because that's a privacy thing. So as long as you're shooting stuff around you, and then sooner or later you have a song that will match one of those scenes that you're taking and just prompt it. And then people will start doing it, or So we have done various things both in the various countries around here, and it worked quite well. So and certain scenes are generic, as in it's not. People may not know the language of the song. For example, just say it's Malay, but if the scene people can feel what you're trying to convey, they will use a song for the same scene, even if they don't understand the language. Yeah.
Adam, as platforms prioritize the distribution of their content, how do you maintain visibility or even increase visibility for the same content across the platforms?
By working with Meta. No, I'm just kidding. To me, I'm gonna sound like a clueless idealist, but to me, the content only matters, like I mentioned just now, the authenticity and how genuine the content is. I think that's when content actually comes into play, and that's when it starts to matter, right? And obviously, the content that we want to push, or rather we want to market and promote, have to come from the artist, because ultimately we're using content as a promotional tool for the music that they have created. So if they are the ones that have written the music that we're help market and promote, and we want them to also create the content to make a tool for us, then it also has to be very genuine, authentic. But I think a lot of artists, based on my experience, they actually get discouraged along the way because that's not what they initially signed off for, and they get into a spiraling moment where like, oh, what am I doing this? Like, oh, I just wanted to be an artist and now I do content, yada, yada, yada. So I think when it comes to that strategy, it's more like a human approach than like business approach, I guess. But we speak to the artists as much as we can to make them feel that don't think it as a work. It's a hobby. Like how you use your Instagram to communicate with your friends and all that. It's the same, almost as shit, but same thing, right? And at the same time, I mean, we've been talking a lot about like how we can utilize the platforms that you have. And one thing that actually really resonated to me about your platform is that it's very, you guys take approach of personalized curation rather than geo-based curation, right? So as long as the artist can put the messaging and narrative and the ethos of what they want to do into their content, then highly likely there's going to be more chance for people, the users of Meta will be able to receive the content. And if they receive it and they start resonating, then I think that's the first step of them becoming super fans. So I guess that's one way to increase visibility and then reach of the content that we are trying to push.
You talked about it just earlier, Adam, but to both Kenny and Dharni, how do you balance the global and local audience approach when you create your content?
When I create the content, I don't really think about if I want to target local or target the global. It's basically I'm being authentic back again. I just want to be me. I go out on the street, you know, I make friends. People like me for certain things. I go back and I will just write on my notebook like, okay, they like me for this and that and this, so let's amplify it. And I do it, and then you know you naturally will get your audience on your on your stats and your insights, and you can see, you know. So. But then when you collaborate with like local creators and stuff like that, that's where you get your local audience coming, because that's why collaboration is really important. You know, you need to be smart for who you want to collaborate with as well. So that's one whole new topic like we can explore in the future.
So if you want, like, I mean, you travel to Poland quite often. If you want to get Polish audience, you would recommend to collaborate with a local influencer?
So if you want to get a Polish audience, you need to learn the Polish culture and collaborate with and do like Polish stuff. Then people from Poland will follow you. The same thing if you want to do something like a French culture, French audience, you do some French stuff, French humor, like French stuff, music that they like, they'll follow you for that. So it's now the world is getting smaller, so you travel more, you experience more. So the world is your oyster, right? So you can do whatever you want. Yeah.
Adam, Kenny, do you have something to say about balancing global and local audience?
Yeah, I think for us, there are two parts of global. One is that you have a piece of content that you want the whole world to know at the same time, and you want to very fast. So like when we did Lisa, her first single with us, Rockstar, it was just something that we did global. And same language, you just go and blast it. So that works on a global basis. But if you want something more targeted on a local or regional basis, then like what was mentioned, that you need to do then collaborate with local creators to get that local flavor. So like Henry Moody, before he came to our region, we actually, like before he came to Malaysia or Singapore, he actually did content with our local content creators before he came. Then, and that helps with it. That's on the free part. Then, but of course, on the paid part, which you also need to do is, so you must get your targeting right, your paid ads. You must set the right targeting, and especially for those of us who know how to use things like lookalikes, to be able to expand the target reach of your audience. You need to do that smart with the money that you have. And with that, then you know how to target the right countries that you want to go to, instead of just say, I want to target the whole world, which again won't get you the right ROI.
Yeah. All right, time is up. Actually, it went, yeah. Time,
terrifying.
It says time.
Time is not going down, it's going up now.
Anyway, so thank you so much for your time and for sharing all of your expertise and knowledge around social media. Thank you, everybody, for staying with us and for being attentive.
Thank you.